Alright, what is up, YouTubers? This is whichever my channel's name is. I've changed this so many times I need to stick with the name. But I think it's Vanilla Bop. But so I think I hope everybody's doing well and everybody's trying to make the best of life and doing what they can. So I want to try to keep this video length around 20 minutes. I'm going to try to talk louder so people can hear me more clearly. So the title of this video is I tested the Venus Project and the Venus Project works. So if anybody does not know what the Venus Project is, I might try to insert some video clips too so people can see what I'm talking about. But the Venus Project is basically a society where everything is free. Housing is free, energy is free, food is free, transportation is free, living is free. And the way that this is accomplished is it is accomplished through basically, what is it? Recognizing the earth as belonging to the entire existence of humanity, like declaring earth like the common heritage of all the world's people, something like that. That's what Jacques Fresco said, something along the lines of that. So basically just letting go of money, making everything free, there's no price tag, and machines will do basically all of the work. The machines will build our homes, the machines will grow our food, the machines will cook our food, the computer technology will basically be what is providing humanity with the resources that they need. And basically the machines do all of the dirty work and the monotonous, repetitive work, and humans are basically free to live life as they wish because they are freed from the burden of survival, because basically technology has become so advanced now that technology basically takes care of all of that survival stuff for us, and humans can focus on bigger and better things that can like science, education, school, culture, art, music. Humans can focus. We get the survival out of the way, and now food, housing, shelter, energy, get that all out of the way so humans can focus on progressing humanity, you know? Like, everybody knows what I mean, right? You got all that basic stuff out of the way, so now we can focus on actually progressing humanity, making technological, scientific, cultural advances that can push humanity, progress humanity, you know? Like, because surviving takes a lot of time, you know? You gotta cooking the food, cooking the food and making the food, or earning a living, just trying to pay your bills, trying to survive, trying to not die. Trying to not die takes up a lot of time. When you're so focused on working so you can put food on the table and putting a roof over your head, you're putting all your time into that instead of, but that's one of the drawbacks of capitalism, is because everybody is so focused on trying to survive and pay the bills and just put food on the table, people do not really have much time for anything else. And that's one of the drawbacks of capitalism. The Venus Project addresses this problem by making everything free. You got your food, you got your house, you got your electricity, you got your water, you got what you need to do. So now just start living life and just strive to make the world a better place. So, but okay, I talked about that for 5 minutes. This video might take a while, but I'll try to get the main, take care of the main stuffs first. And so basically, how did I test the Venus Project? So, like, I think Jacques Fresco said, like, one of the important steps in the utilization, the implementation of the Venus Project is to test it. And so we are going to take Jacques Fresco's word on that. We need to test the Venus Project. The Venus Project sounds like a wonderful idea, but now let's put it to the test. Does it actually work? And a lot of people put down the Venus Project and say, oh, it's not going to work. The Venus Project's not going to work. It's not going to work. But they say that because they never actually tested it. They never actually put it to the test. They never actually got to see it for themselves and to see how it is. And I used to work in computer repair or information technology. One of the greatest things that working in the information technology field has taught me is people can say all the stuff that they want to say, but at the end of the day, that's not going to fix the problem. Like, you know, like, okay, somebody's computer is not working. Oh, this computer is not working. I cannot get it to work. I don't know, like, my internet is not working. All right, so it's like, or the internet's not working. So now you can be like, okay, well, the internet cable is, your internet's probably not working because you have a bad cable. You have a bad cable and you need to get a new Ethernet cable for your internet. And then the person will be like, oh, that's not gonna work, that's not why my internet's not working, it's because of something else, or the internet's not working because this internet is a piece of crap or something, or this computer is crap. And then, but then what you do is you get a brand new Ethernet cable, you plug it in from the router into the computer, and you throw away the old Ethernet cable, and lo and behold, the internet is now working on the computer. So now the person's like, oh wow, so okay, so it was the Ethernet cable, that was the problem, that was why the computer was not working. It's kind of like the same thing with the Venus Project. So it's like, but you know, people want to be like, oh no, you got to do this, or you got to do that, or you got to do this. Okay, people can say all these things that they want to say, but we need to fix the problem. We got to fix the problem. We can say all this stuff all day, but we need to fix the problem. All right? Oh, well, it's supposed to be like this, it's supposed to be like that. Well, we need to fix the problem. And oh man, I'm going off on a tangent over here, but there needs to be a mindset to this. We cannot just approach the Venus Project with just any kind of mindset. We need to approach the Venus Project like we are trying to fix a problem, because in order to fix the problems with our society, we cannot go around saying, oh, it should be like this, or it should be like that, or oh, it's not going to work, or this is not going to work. Okay, we can go ahead and say that, but we need to go into a mindset of we need to fix it. What can we do to fix it? Well, how can we fix it? What are the ways that we can fix it? Can we try this? Can we try that? Can we try this? So in order to fix the problems that society are going through, we need to go in this with we gotta fix the problem kind of approach, So I'm just trying to prepare everybody for just so like the mindset has to be tweaked, a little bit. So okay, basically, all right. So I tested this in a virtual system. I tested this in a virtual system. Essentially, I tested the Venus Project in a video game. But people might be like, oh, well, it's a video game. That's not going to work. Like, you tested the Venus Project in a video game. Well, my argument for that is, like, the capitalism is kind of like an artificial system created by humans, alright? It's a system, artificial construct, created by humans, alright? Make money to spend money, and supply and demand and all that, and consumerism, just buy cars and expensive cars and TVs, expensive brand clothes or something, expensive brand watches, expensive iPhones. It's kind of like an artificial concept created by humans, that humans are just designed to live in a world where their purpose in life is to just spend money on expensive stuff. So the video games are kind of like an artificial system created by humans as well, and they're both systems. Capitalism and video games, they both operate off of artificial intelligence. They operate off of programming in a way. Like they run off of a programming, an engine with programming, with instructions, with codes to tell the system how to operate. So they're kind of the same in a way, but the Venus Project, or Civilization Revolution, is basically like you create your civilization from the ground up. You start in like the Stone Age, and then you guide your civilization through the Stone Age, or the Middle Ages, the Industrial Age, and the Modern Age, and you basically, all of humanity's accomplishments are in this game, inventing writing, inventing religion, inventing engineering, inventing electronics, computer technology, inventing irrigation, all of inventing space travel, all of humanity's accomplishments and systems, democracy, republic, communism, they're all of humanity's accomplishments, and you could say disasters, have been put into this game. So I mean, this game is not just based off of nothing, alright? It's based off of something, alright? It's not like just like pulling like just a fairy tale out of thin air. Like, this is actual stuff. This game is based on real life events that humans have accomplished. So basically, yeah, you build your civilization from the ground up. You lead your civilization from the Stone Age to the future, to launching a space shuttle into space and landing on another planet in another galaxy. So, oh my gosh, just trying to explain everything takes a while. Okay, so I will explain what happened. Okay, so I wanted to see what would work. How would a capitalist system fare in Civilization Revolution, and how would the Venus Project fare in Civilization Revolution? And so I tried the capitalist system first. So I tried the capitalist system in the Civilization Revolution, the game, and I did that by building markets, by building banks, by building economic wonders. Yeah, that's basically what I did. Just building banks, markets. Yeah, and the main focus of the civilization was to produce money, was to make money, and you have an option in the when you make the civilization. Like, do you want this? When you build a city, they ask you, do you want your city to focus on making money or making science, making science? So, and what I did was I basically made all of my cities focus on money. And I think I had one city focus on making science, and then I had the other cities focus on making gold, making money. So, but what happened was the civilization was very rich. The civilization like produced like by focusing on markets and banks and economic wonders, like the World Bank or something, or like the market of Troy or something, or I don't know. There was like a lot of like economic wonders that you can do. Market of Troy, or so, I don't know what it's called exactly. The World Bank. The Indian something, the East India Company, and but like I just focused primarily on making money, and profit, and so the city, the civilization did relatively well. The civilization was very wealthy. They had the civilization had a lot of money, and the civilization was able to discover the internet by 1700. Now that's so if capitalism is done right, if you focus your time and energy and resources on building wealth and saving and investing into the market, investing into banks, when you have a very good functioning capitalist system, the country can become very wealthy and rich. And because the country was so wealthy, like I was able to just pump out wonders like this. I was able to build aqueducts. I was able to build granaries. I was able to build factories. I was able to build everything like very quick, and I was able to build like Hollywood. I was able to build Hollywood very quick, and Hollywood is very expensive to build. But because I had so much money, I was able to build Hollywood instantly. Yes, the country was very rich, and basically the country could buy whatever they wanted to buy. And the internet was created in the 1700s, and like the internet is a very advanced. I want to use the internet as a milestone, a huge technological milestone, because like the internet is considered like one of the first technologies to be considered like a level 1 technology. Basically, if anybody watches Michio Kaku or something, a scientist, a level 1 society is able to basically control a planet. They have the power to control a planet. And then like level 2 societies have the ability to like control the universe or something. So the surprising thing is, humans are not even level 1 societies yet. Humans are still level type 0. We're not even one yet. We're not even one, let alone 2 or 3 or 4. We're still at 0. So, but the internet is considered a type 1 technology, one of the first. So we're getting there to level 1. But now, so the capitalist system did pretty good. All right. How did the Venus Project fare? This was the crazy part. So, I tried the Venus Project, and the Venus Project did exceptionally well. The capitalist system did pretty good. Like, a well-functioning capitalist system does good. And, but the Venus Project did amazing. Like, wow. So what I did with the Venus Project, instead of focusing my time and resources, the city's time and resources into building markets and banks and economic wonders, the Venus Project focused on technological and scientific and cultural progress, and but mainly the focus of the Venus Project was to focus on science. And so basically all of the cities, instead of focusing on making money, all of the cities were focused on making science. You have two options in Civilization Revolution. Do you want your city to focus on making money? Do you want to focus your city on making science? Instead of making money, all of my cities focused on making science. Libraries were built. Universities were built. Scientific wonders were built, like the Library of Alexandria, Oxford University, the internet, and what else? I mean, I'm sure there's more scientific wonders. Yeah. So, and but yeah, the cities, there was no money. Basically, money was not used. That's the focus of the Venus Project. There is no money, and just focus on science education, go back to school, focus on making the world a better place, focusing on culture, and no money is used. And that is basically what my societies did. They were not focusing on making money, they were focusing on science. And no, there were no banks, there were no markets, no economic wonders. And if money was used, money was used a little bit, because I will admit, I was not able to completely go to the Venus Project. I would say the city was 80% Venus Project and maybe 20% capitalist. Money did have to be used a couple of times to be able to build things instantly, because if you don't use money, you have to wait a little bit longer to build stuff. So I had to use a little bit of money to try to build things a little bit faster. A little bit of money was used, but for the most part, there were no banks, no markets, no economic wonders. There was no gold production, no money production. There was no money, basically. The Venus Project did very well. So the Venus Project in Civilization and Revolution, the internet, the science progressed at a much rapid rate, because that's the key here. This is what I want to put emphasis on. The Venus Project was not wasting time on a capitalist system. The Venus Project was not wasting time on making money. instead of focusing time, energy, and resources into building markets, into building banks, into building economic wonders, the Venus Project was not wasting time, energy, and resources on money, on making money. The Venus Project was focusing all of the time, energy, and resources on science, education, technology, culture. When you build markets and banks and economic wonders, when you focus on producing gold, money, making money, it takes a lot of time away from focusing on other things. And because when you build a market, that takes time. Now, that instead of that time being put, when you put time into building markets and banks and just capitalist, artificial capitalist constructs, that takes time away from other areas. That is what I want to put the strongest emphasis on. Focusing on money takes time away from other aspects in life, like science and culture. All right? And that's exactly what happened. So, because the Venus Project focused solely on aspects, on things that were not money, because the Venus Project was able to focus on bigger and better things, the Venus Project accelerated at a much faster pace. By the year 1000, the Venus Project was already in the modern era. All of the other civilizations in the game were still stuck in the Middle Ages, but the Venus Project was already in the modern age. The Venus Project already had access to basically electronics, to electricity. What other modern? It had access to ships, actual modern ships. Everybody else was still riding those what do you call them, those galleys, or those old Greek boats that you see in the movies, those Spartan movies. Everybody was still riding those boats, but the Venus Project was already riding coal ships by the year 1000. And there was already electricity and electronics and cars by the year 1000. It's ridiculous. The Venus Project accelerated at a much faster pace. And get this, the internet was created in the year 1200. 1200. 500 years earlier, the internet was discovered 500 years earlier than a capitalist system at its best. And the Venus Project was able to discover the internet 500 years sooner. The year 1200. What was going on in the year 1200? That was literally still the Middle Ages. That you literally got people still living in castles and riding horses and wearing you got knights walking around in their armor and their sword and their shield. You still got knights walking around. You still got you still got peasants out in the farm, growing their farms, or irrigating on their farms. It was living in that's the Middle Ages, man. That was literally a time where people literally they flung their dung right out the window and landed on top of somebody's head outside. That was still a time where people threw their literally their biological waste out the window. That was a very different. So you got people literally shitting in a pot and throwing it out the window over here in this country. And then you got this other country here, literally the year 1200 in the modern era, with like cars and cruise liners and the internet, the freaking can you imagine like a knight sitting on a chair typing on his computer, using the internet, like sending a tweet on his Twitter or whatever? Can you imagine a knight in his like full plated like metal armor with that like that knight helmet over his head and just on the computer, like updating his Instagram or something? Can you imagine that? Like that's how crazy it was. So I tested the Venus Project. The Venus Project works. All right, it works. The Venus Project was tested in a virtual environment. It's safe to say that the Venus Project works. Now, people want to be skeptical on the Venus Project and be like, oh, it's not going to work. The Venus Project is not going to work. But everybody wants to talk crap about the Venus Project. But did they actually put the Venus Project to the test? That is what I did. I put the Venus Project to the test. And I was a little bit skeptical at first. I was not sure if the Venus Project could work. But I did it. I put the Venus Project to the test. It's safe to say the Venus Project works. All right, like just science, just advanced science and technology advanced at a much rapid pace, and science and technology advanced at a rapid pace, and the civilizations were just like the cities were just bustling with like so much technology. Like they had access to electronics, computers, ships, factories. The factories were used in the Venus Project to build stuff, more efficiently. They had access to aqueducts, granaries. There was so much food. Like these countries, they had harbors. These countries advanced at such a fast rate, and this country had access to so much food and science and technology, and there was a lot of culture too. You know, they had access to theater. They had access to temples. They had access to like culture as well. These cities were just cultural, scientific, technological, just revolutions. Now you could say that they had that in the capitalist system as well, but it took a lot longer to get there. And it's just capitalism is fine. For what it is, it's fine. It does what it has to do. But I mean, putting the Venus Project, actually putting the two systems to the test, like, dude, like like capitalism, it does what it has to do. But like everyone, like capitalism is honestly like, we could be doing so much better. All right, like capitalism is fine for what it is, but we could be doing so much better. And we could be way more scientifically, technologically advanced. We could be way more advanced as the human species, as the human race. We could be way more advanced if we just let go of capitalism and just move on to bigger and better things. The Venus Project. Like, capitalism is holding us back, all right? We could be just doing so much better, but it's like, where like a lot of time is just being wasted on making money. We just gotta let that go. Like it's holding a lot of people back. Can you imagine how many possible scientists or how many possible like just like cultural like icons that there are out there just waiting to flourish? But they're not able to do that because they're so worried about trying to survive in this capitalist system and just trying to put food on the table. Like, capitalism is just holding us back. It's safe to say that the Venus Project works. It's just, it's a great system. It's efficient, and it's very scientifically, technologically advanced, and culturally. It's time to just, the capitalism is fine for what it is, but we got to give the Venus Project a shot. The Venus Project, it works. It's been tested. The Venus Project works. We got to start implementing the Venus Project. Alright, this is a long video. Thank you everybody for watching. Peace.